Hello there, welcome to Hashtag Toe to Toe, the boxing show where you ask the questions, put them to the panel, set the discussion alight. Spencer Fearon is here once again looking dapper as ever in a grey waistcoat and grey tie combination. Alongside, though, more importantly, special guest Mark Prince, former light heavyweight world title challenger, now cruiserweight boxer, back after 14 years and looking good, Mark. How you doing?
Yeah, awesome, man. It's really good being here. I appreciate the invite.
Well, great to have you. And you're 4-0 on your return.
Yep, sure. 3 KOs, 1 10-round decision. Probably gave up maybe 1 or 2 rounds tops.
Yeah, he's loving it at cruiserweight, Spence, as well.
Yeah. I think the major thing is for Mark to try and get back his license for the British Border Control, because he's now boxing on, what's it, a Maltese?
Yeah, Maltese boxing license.
Right.
Allows me to fight in this country and anywhere in Europe.
Right, yeah, but on the roads, like the aficionados of the sport, we don't really recognise that, and he's battling long and hard to try and get his British Border Control licence back. And even though he's 46 years old, he recently passed stringent testing, neurological and physical testing by, what university was it?
Brighton Sports University.
Right, Brighton Sports University. And I just think what the British Border Control do a lot of the times, where I know when I manage fighters, if they haven't seen the fighter or heard of the fighter who's just come from the amateurs and going into the pros, they assess them by having a sparring with a professional fighter.
Yeah.
I think that we could name anybody in the top 10, and I think the British Border Control should do the same thing with Mark Prince and give him somebody in the top 10 to spar with to assess him, because physically he's passed all the tests, passed the brain test, passed the CAT scan, he's passed all those kind of things, so I think they should give him a chance. Certain things need to change in the game, and maybe they just need to give the man a chance, and that's what I believe.
More of an individual case-by-case approach.
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
Nathan Cleverley's certainly, I know, attested to your form and fitness. Let's crack on with the questions from the viewers. We'll ask you about your charity foundation as well for your late son towards the end. That's important to get that information out there as well. But Daniel Whitehead asks, is Khan, this is Amir Khan, lack of activity due to the dangerous fights for him at 147? Said he wanted to fight Kell Brook, then said he didn't want to fight Kell Brook after the money was put on the table. What do you think of Amir Khan's situation?
His mind's just set on Mayweather, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
he's
come
got
back.
a Mayweather bug, and he needs to just focus on just fighting. Just continue fighting, get on with your career. You got great fights. Brook and Khan is a must.
Yeah.
For too long, we'd get messed around with good fights that we've got. Just fight, man. Bring the excitement back.
Well, David Laurie asks on Twitter as well, he says, Spencer, is Al Heyman helping Khan at all? He sought to get him the Mayweather fight to no success. He's only fought once a year. That was against Chris Algieri. Not wholly convincing last May. What do you think?
You know what? I'm being real, and like I can understand the reasons why Amir Khan's not taking the Kell Brook fight.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying, well, Kell Brook's a world champion. Why is Kell Brook calling out Amir Khan? Right? But we have to be realistic. Amir Khan should forget about it. It was embarrassing the other day, and I like Amir Khan because I know him. But it's embarrassing. You're sat ringside. They were at the Guerrero versus Garcia fight, and you're sat there. You're saying, "Oh, come on, Floyd, fight me." To Floyd alluded to just say, "Listen, when you can make 300 million in one night, then you come talk to me."
Yeah.
That's done the argument. That is a dub plate special, right? That's shut up. What he should be doing, and this is the truth.
And he qualifies for a Garcia shot, doesn't he?
He does qualify for a Garcia shot, but would he be in a rush to take the Garcia fight?
Well, seemingly not.
Right, seemingly not. Listen, the fight we want is a Kell Brook fight.
Prescott.
Right, exactly.
If he had that Garcia
Right.
fight.
We need to see Amir Khan and Kell Brook just for the simple fact of the boxing fans, and it is a must, and it's also the money that it will generate. And like he's saying, like, all right, then I want an 80-20 split. You know what I'll do? I'll call his bluff and say, I'll take the 80-20 split. If I was Kell Brook, I'll say, give me the 20%. I don't business. Give me the 20%. I'll take the 20%. Let's make the fight happen. This fight has to happen.
Kell's that confident. Ollie Francis asks, in relation to Kell Brook, Porter versus Thurman set for March the 12th. Same date, of course, as Brook fighting Bizier. What do you think of this? Because Kell's career hasn't quite kicked on as he'd wished with the world title.
In your first defence, they're going to be able to take care of you and pick up an opponent that's more going to just show your skill base instead of a risk factor. So we want to see Kell getting into fights now.
Yeah, we want to see. I think the supposition, you want to see him in people like Thurman, don't you?
Yeah,
we
big
do, American
but,
fights.
Yeah, but as much as we're saying, right, we want to see Kell Brook in these fights, right? I'm alluding back to this. The natural no-brainer fight to make, which should be easy to make, is him versus Khan.
Simple.
If that don't fight happen, we could be saying like, oh well, then he should be. Let me tell you this.
But if you don't get Khan, you presumably, I know there's a mandatory challenge here, but you think
it's a mandatory challenge. The Bizier fight, you know what I'm saying? The Bizier fight, nobody ain't interested in that fight. You lost twice to Jojo Dan. Right? Even though one of them was controversial, but you lost twice to Jojo Dan. That is fight. Even though styles make fights, that tells me the level of the opponent that you're fighting, right? But you can't get nobody else because them American boys ain't stupid. Them American boys know, Kell Brook. I mean, Thurman's got greatest respect for him. I'm telling you this now because Keith Thurman told me, we spoke, and Keith Thurman said, nah, like, I'll give me Amir Khan any day of the week, I'll knock him out. But Kell Brook, that boy can fight because they know Kell Brook has a toughness about him.
He beat Porter in his own backyard,
right? He has a toughness, and he also got mental toughness.
I don't know if he actually beat him.
Yeah, it was a close fight. It was a close fight.
Yeah.
It was a close fight.
What about, let's on the subject of welterweights, because it's a hot division still, despite heavyweights getting a lot of attention right now. Aaron Longdon says, does Errol Spence beat Thurman and Porter now? What do you think? Because you've been championing Errol Spence as the future of the division. The truth he's known as.
I am going to champion the truth, but no. And the simple reason is this. People, what are you talking about? You always talk about it. I do. He's an amazing talent.
Yeah.
But he ain't fought nobody. I've been in the gyms when he sparred. I've witnessed a spar with him and Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather sings his praises. The guy is talented.
Southpaw.
Sometimes he does get hit too easy. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's because he's so... You see, like, well, Mark can tell you, because Mark could punch. Trust me, this man could punch. No, for real. I remember one time I sparred with
he's just coming off a first-round knockout, isn't he?
Yeah, I know, no. But I'm talking like back in the day. I'm talking like 98 when I was hot. And I was hot them times. And I remember sparring with Mark. First day I sparred with Mark at the Brixton Club, and I kind of handled Mark that day. But I think Mark just had that off day, must have been arguing with his wife. The next day...
He's going easy on you.
My goodness gracious.
You're a light middleweight.
I was a light middleweight, though. But Mark punched me from pillar to post. But no, in sparring, the guy's really, really talented.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying with Errol Spence is because Porter has been in with world-class fighters, Thurman has been in world-class and got that experience, right now, no, until he starts up in the grade, but potentially.
Yeah.
Right, you know what I mean? You know what they say, like, don't let your perspective vision stop you from seeing your potential vision. And the potential vision that I see for that guy and what he sees for himself is amazing. He's an incredible talent.
He's 19-0, isn't he? He's got 16 knockouts.
Yeah.
If a southpaw can bang like that, how dangerous a proposition are they?
Oh, definitely. But I think Spencer's nailed it on the head. It's about experience at the end of the day and who you fought.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't throw him in with someone like Thurman because Thurman does have that pedigree, does have that experience. He's a little bit further on, and that guy can bang as well.
He can bang.
And I just want to say something about sparring because a lot of guys are great in the gym, but they can't perform when they go out on the night.
Is that pressure?
And it's a mental attitude. I've seen it many, many times, and I don't think I'm all that inspiring myself.
No, it's the truth.
But when it comes to performing, don't play. That's where I really shine.
Well, should you hold stuff back in sparring anyway?
I like to because no one's giving me a check. I'm just working on my skills and working on specific things. So I'm a real general of the sport in terms of I like to go in, I should say student. I like to go in and work on things. So sometimes I would let a guy pound away at me just because I'm working on my defensive skills.
Yeah.
And if I get hit, I get hit. But I'm learning and improving every day.
Yeah.
So he might feel like, oh, great, I had a pounding on Prince today, but I'm cool, I don't mind because my skills have just improved.
Do you think
over
that's
time.
very similar to what Bernard Hopkins does? When you go watch Bernard Hopkins, like, you say, what kind of foolishness is this? Right, it's only because he works on specific things, and that's why the man's got longevity. Because I'm telling you now, like, right,
we might have that in common now.
Yeah, exactly, most definitely.
Let's talk about sparring, let's talk about heavyweight division. I mentioned it briefly, but you do know Dillian Whyte, probably know Dereck Chisora as well. Chisora. They've sparred together, and Dillian was like quite coy about it, but suggested it went quite well for him before. Question from Matt78 says, yes, please, Del Boy Chisora versus Dillian Whyte. That would be a war. The press conferences would be, he's got 5 flaming emoticons there, so hot, 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 hot. What do you think about that? Forget the press conferences, the fight would be good, wouldn't it?
That's a great fight for both, another great fight for the British public. And we're just enjoying, a bit of the excitement that's going around the heavyweight division, and we haven't had that for a while. So it's needed.
Does that reflect a general more interest in boxing? You've come back to boxing. Do you think it's better placed now than it was 15 years ago?
I don't know about 15 years ago. I really don't.
Yeah, you was around then. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know about 15 years ago, but I do know that it's picking up now better than ever.
Yeah.
And I would say that if you class it just simply upon the basis of the champions that we have now compared to the numbers that we had before, then easily, hands down.
How good could Dillian be?
Dillian could be awesome if he just sticks to forgetting about all the hype, forgetting about all the talking, stick to your gifts and your talents, work hard in the gym, and prove who you really are when you go and perform.
Yeah.
Because he could have taken out Anthony, and both fighters are great, but here was an opportunity to really shine and back up your talk. And I think that Anthony showed places where he's got a lot of growing to do, and Dillian could have capitalised on that because they both got involved too emotionally. Dillian showed his inexperience. I did ask him, if you could take this fight a little bit later, it would be better for you because you'll be a little bit more mature.
Sure.
But young fighters are so eager, they're coming up and they feel so confident, they feel they could conquer the world, and they don't realise the quality and price that it has for experience. It's a great deal. And I have
Who do you think would win out of Dillian versus Dereck Chisora?
Dereck Chisora would find himself sleeping within 5 or 6 rounds.
Yeah?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar to David Haye.
Yeah, and I think he'd fall probably to a Dillian right hand.
Okay.
Because he's open
even a better one. The better one for me right now, because
They're not very hypothetical in the book.
Dylan Whyte versus Stormzy. Who you got?
Oh, seriously.
Let's not talk about Stormzy. Joy's records are great.
Seriously.
Craig says
Man getting too much airplay and they don't deserve it. They're not fighters.
We got gents going back to the middleweight division now, going roundabout. But Craig asks on Twitter, what was Triple G doing at Upton Park this weekend? And he asked question mark Billy Joe Saunders. So I guess he was watching West Ham play. I'm presuming from that. But what do you think? Do you think he's scouting? Because he's come over in his tweed before, and when he fought Martin Murray, hasn't he? He likes a bit of English culture now.
He does. He likes fish and chips, right? So that fight where Billy Joe, fair play, has come out and said, yeah, I'll take the fight, but you got to pay me X amount of millions.
Yeah.
Right. That's not him carrying out of the fight or overpricing him. So if he's saying, listen, I have won the WBO world title.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a linear title now because it's one of the top 4. So he's saying, I will take the fight, but you have to pay me because this guy's no joke.
Exactly.
Right. So you got to pay me.
Exactly.
Well, this is
and that's the
prize
problem for Goff.
fighting.
He doesn't carry as much money as some of the other American boxers, despite being
Exactly.
arguably pound for pound best.
And not only that, but anybody looking on Billy Joe, somebody on Twitter was saying some disrespectful things. I think it was Danny Jacobs' trainer.
Yeah.
Was saying, or handler was saying, well, that's a walk in the park. He can't punch, he can't. Wait, he had Andy Lee down. Andy Lee's no monk. Andy Lee's a very, very world-class fighter. So you have to know, like, Billy Joe is a very, very good fighter.
Yeah,
I've seen him and James Aguil spar, trust me.
Upton Park's a sort of bit of a boxing venue, is it? Frank Warren venue as well. We've seen
Frank
Ricky
Warren
Burns
venue?
fight there. We've seen David Haye fight there. We've seen, obviously, Kevin Mitchell fight there, West Ham fight
Right.
in recent years.
We also got to allude to the fact of who's the best fighter. Don't get twisted. Golovkin is a terror. He's a monster, right? He is a monster.
Well, Darren Barker said if there was only one world title, none of us would ever win one at the middleweight division.
Exactly.
Golovkin. He was honest about that.
Right, exactly. That's right, exactly. But the thing with when you're looking at somebody like Billy Joe wants to test himself. So Billy says, this guy is the best guy. Right. No one. He's got that. He's a traveller.
Yeah.
Right.
Could he stay away
I want to fight world title
to win the? Could he stay away from Golovkin's power long enough to win that fight?
Of course he can.
Yeah.
Of course
he's excellently skilled.
Listen, don't underestimate Billy Joe, man. Because I think a lot of people thought that Andy Lee would have got to him.
Yeah.
And nah, he got outboxed. But I think it had a lot to do with
Andy
Andy Lee. That had a lot to do with Andy Lee as well. And I'm not trying to disrespect Adam Booth, his trainer, but the strategy for me was just all wrong. Like your feet and your hands, keep this guy outside. Stop trying to come in close with this guy. Look at the way he got nailed. He got nailed like right here in the box.
Yeah.
Like keep him outside even in the first few rounds and then do your jab. Start getting yourself into a groove. Boom, boom, boom at the end. Just simple basics. He could have kept it simple. And he didn't.
Lindsay Shaw asks a question. I think Lindsay's been in touch with you on Twitter this morning. I saw it. Hagler versus Hearn is regarded as one of the best of all time. Hard to argue with that. Do you think that any recent fights have come close?
Well, I think because it's Hagler and Hearns, it's just explosive excitement packed in 3 rounds. No, but if you're talking about just excitement and explosion and just, I think Morales and Barrera comes up
the
there.
first, incredible fight.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That was incredible. Then you got Gatti Woods. They were,
trilogy.
But I'm going to say, wait a minute. My friend here, Mark Prince, fought a guy called Michael Gill in 1996, right? Right? Now I'll tell you, because it was on Sky.
Country was buzzing. You're 96 as well.
Right, exactly. No, I'm telling you, right? If you want all action tear up,
Yeah.
Just like you're having trouble going to sleep. Don't watch this fight.
Him awake
Listen, let me tell you this. That was a tear up.
Yeah.
Like one of the best tear ups I've ever seen. I remember myself, Ed Robertson, we were talking about this a couple months ago. I said, yeah, we got to dig that fight up on the archives. So I'm giving our producer some work to do now. He's going to have to dig this fight up. An incredible fight.
It's a good shout, though, isn't it, about that sort of all action, very even fights? Because I think, maybe Kevin Mitchell-Murray in 2012 was a kind of tear up like that.
We could also go back, I think, this December 97, the 20th, I think it was the 19th or the 19th of December. Amir Khan, sorry, my apologies. Nassim Hamed versus Kevin Kelly. That was a Hagler Hearns.
Awesome.
And Arthur V. Gomez, my producer's just whispered in my ear, Ed Damrell.
Wicked fight.
I know there's a book coming out about that, I think.
Is there?
I think so,
Okay, yeah, that's a wicked fight as well. No, trust me, that was a wicked fight. That was,
and Joshua Whyte, in fairness, wasn't bad, was it?
2004,
That was enthralling.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
You was in Joshua. You was in Dillian's corner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting, man. Seriously.
I said,
I was the one on the outside trying to stop some of Dillian's some supporters and backers from going in the ring. Because for me,
he never done a good job.
He's already having a fight.
He didn't do a very good job.
He's having a fight. So why in heaven's name? Why do we need to run in the ring? He's already having a fight. We don't need to run in the ring and fight. Leave them.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll get a rematch down the line as well. Mark, been an absolute pleasure answering your question, or you answering our questions. Thanks for that. Quick word about your charity foundation. You will be on the Toe to Toe podcast, which is on iTunes and the Sky Sports website as well later. So we'll have a full chat about it. But just give us a little taster of that for your late son.
Yeah, definitely. Crown Prince Foundation, as I'm promoting on my hat, is just an awesome charity that started grassroots. Basically, it blew up after my son got killed, sadly. I just felt in my heart that my son could not just die for no reason. It just took off where people started asking me to come and do talks at their schools, and I just got a lot of invites to do that. And I went out there, and for some reason, people seemed to get a lot from it. The kids were warm to it. The knowledge that was shared with them to come away from gangs, how to present themselves and how to try and achieve. Because me coming from a kid from Tottenham, that people said I weren't going to amount to much, and I was #1 in Britain as a light heavyweight, I feel that I learnt the blueprint for success, which is simple. It's hard work. I dedicated myself to something, and I stayed away from all the negative things that was going to bring me down. And I try to share that with the young people. And that took off, man.
It's a great story. We'll keep covering it as well. As I say, check out the podcast a little bit later. Mark, thank you for now. Spence, thank you for now. Next hashtag Toe to Toe will be next week. We'll put the call to arms out on Tuesday. Get your tweets in then. We will discuss it on Wednesday. Thanks for those today, and bye for now.
Enjoy Sky Sports Live on all screens, on the go, and the best bits on demand.